Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar
Why? You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the game.
no.
Let's go to the last part.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today. SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really want
to me. Respond to me how you would respond to me.
The first question I'll ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say, we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for, it's called loss and damage. And we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
WESN.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I am Naomi McNish.
And I am Jada McLeod.
Good morning, Jada.
Good morning, Naomi. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this morning because it's Wednesday. So.
Oh my gosh, I love a Wednesday. And we know that you guys love a Wednesday too because
it's
Wild Wednesday
this morning.
Yeah. So weirdly enough, the topic that we have is kind of on trend for Wild Wednesday. You know, we explore wildlife, we explore nature, that sort of a thing. But the conversation before we have Mr. Mead on, it focuses more on sustainability. So with us today is a powerful voice for climate advocacy, and she hails from the Bahamas. Amplia is a youth representative to the United Nations and a tireless advocate for sustainability across the Caribbean region. She's known as Miss Sustainability. I think that's quite on trend for her personality. So from rising sea levels to policy reform, she's on the front lines of the climate fight, amplifying the concerns of small island nations amidst a global population. Today we speak with her about what climate justice really looks like for the Caribbean and how young people are demanding more than promises. They're demanding action. So good morning, Ms. Turner. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you on. You are such a beautiful lady and you are doing so much important work. So of course my first question to you has to be, how do you even get involved in work like this?
I think for me, I always believed that education was the foundation of anything that I've been able to do. And so it really started when I decided to pursue my undergraduate degree and being exposed to different research and the different forums that were available. I just started showing up and using my voice. And in that, I've been able to grow and I've been able to ultimately get on the world stage and advocate for things that I'm passionate about. And it started right here at home, in my classroom, attending forums at my university, and it just expanded from there.
You just kind of took up the mantle and you went. You know, usually people need to be given divine intervention for something, and when it comes to they knowing their passion. You know, you just said, I'm interested, I'm going to go to a forum. At which university, if you don't mind me asking?
The University of the Bahamas.
Beautiful. All right. So
before we started, I was asking Jada, what about this Miss Sustainability title? And I asked her, is it a real thing? Is it, where did it come from? Did she do a pageant? I'm like, So can you tell us a little bit about where you got this title or how you got this title, bestowed?
So it's actually a very funny story. My first degree is in small island sustainability, and I had a friend who just used to call me Miss Sustainability because of what I studied. And I was like, I like that. I like how that sounds. I'm going to use that kind of as the alias when I advocate and when I do science communication. So it just stuck, and I've been using it ever since from about 2020. I've just been rolling with the title Miss Sustainability.
I love that. So as a youth advocate to the United Nations, what has your experience taught you about the gaps between global policy and our reality here in the Caribbean?
I think it's very sombering to be in spaces like the United Nations and realize how much bigger issues are in comparison to what we feel here in the Caribbean. And so I think for most people who stand in the halls of the United Nations and speak, sometimes they speak about topics that they're very far removed from. And so being from a small island developing state, being on the front lines of climate change, experiencing these sustainability issues, being able to be in the room and share insight from a lived experience hits home even more, and it drives home the message that this isn't just some far off thought for someone who lives in the global north, but it's the everyday reality for someone who lives in the global south. And so being able to advocate on behalf of youth and address the policy gaps that youth need, the spaces, more youth from the global south rather need the spaces to advocate for their countries, to advocate for people just like them, is just as important as a world leader standing in the halls of the United Nations, giving their interventions.
So I've always wondered when we speak with activists, specifically activists that have to show up about climate change in certain spaces, do you just go to the forum and you say, yo, Trinidad and Tobago, the Bahamas, Jamaica, it's real hot, we gotta do something about that? How do you describe the reasons behind why you're even there in the first place? Do you focus on flooding, our lack of, let's say, government mitigation when it comes to flooding of certain small states, or how just how unbelievably hot it can get sometimes? So what do you focus on?
So I think that climate change is very intersectional, and everybody has their various topics that they like to hone in on and advocate for. And I've been very passionate about just the overall topic of climate action and climate adaptation, SDG 13, and what that looks like specifically for small island developing state youth, and how we're the most disproportionately affected by the climate crisis. So how can we as youth be in these spaces and use our voices to amplify the message that, yes, at home, I just had a hurricane and my house almost washed away. So how do we say that youth should be in these rooms to advocate for the future that they rightly deserve?
What does real youth influence look like to you?
To me, real youth influence goes beyond ageism, goes beyond tokenism. It's actively giving youth the space to show up as they are, to show up purposefully, to actually hear them out and take their advice and take their ideas and implement them in some way. I think youth are very innovative. I think we have a lot of ideas. I think we're very passionate about our causes, and to be able to be given a seat at tables and be able to walk into rooms is so important, not because we had to beg our way in there, but because we were invited, because we have value. And giving youth that opportunity and that space is just so important.
How interested do you think youth are in even doing something like this? Like being called to such a, I would say, high standard, specifically when it comes to the UN, that's already terrifying. But you have to know a certain amount of information. You have to have, a degree in it, or you have to have some sort of study, some kind of learningness in the subject matter. I'm not saying most youth don't do that, but most youth don't really do that. So what is the proportion like when you go to these big spaces and you see, is it 60% adults, 40% youth? Like, what is it like?
So I think specifically for the Global South, most of our experience, if it doesn't come from an educational background, it comes from lived experience, and lived experience is the best teacher. And so who better to advocate and to show up and to speak than someone who has been through certain circumstances, right? And so when I think about youth wanting to get into this space and to learn how to navigate international forums and the international community, especially as a youth from the Global South, I think most of it comes from learning and just being in the rooms. So whenever I give interventions or I stand in those rooms, I advocate for those who may never enter the halls of the UN to be given a space where if they can't physically be there, they can still have spaces where they can share their ideas. They can share things that they're passionate about. And I think it's just so important to give youth the opportunity to just learn. There's a forum, the ECOSOC Youth Forum, that happens every year in April at the United Nations. And it's an opportunity for governments to share their, or rather to get youth into those rooms to experience what it's like to be in the international community and to advocate on the biggest stage. And so there's a plethora of opportunities that youth can get involved in to just learn and to take part in the global community.
Mr. I wasn't sure if you heard me there just now. I was asking, is it EcoSoft is the forum?
Yes, the Economic and Social Council's Youth Forum.
Oh, all right. Okay. I was going to ask specifically when it comes to sustainability. Sometimes when you just hear the term, you think of, well, for me, I think of paper straws. We're not all a big fan of paper straws. But when you say, like, you could give me the example of the Bahamas for your own lived experience. What are some of the sustainability goals that you think the Bahamas need to hone in on or focus on?
So, like you said, the term sustainability, it's such a buzzword right now.
It is.
And it's basically preserving what we have now to protect what other future generations need, right? So just being cognizant of our usage of our natural resources to make sure that future generations are able to do the same thing. And I think specifically for the Bahamas, because we're so low-lying, I think climate action and climate adaptation is a big thing that we need to focus on, as well as preserving aspects of our biodiversity. We're very tied to our marine environment as Bahamians, and so being able to protect our queen conch, our spiny lobster, our Nassau grouper, those elements of our marine environment that are so intrinsically linked to who we are as Bahamians, I think is what we need to focus on a bit more. I think that the advocates and the environmental organizations here at home are doing an amazing job in protecting different species and advocating for policy change, but there's still more that can be done.
As an extension of Jada's question, I wanted to ask, from a global perspective or your global view, how do you think climate justice is being addressed when it comes to, smaller nations like ours here in the Caribbean?
I think here in the Caribbean, we've been fighting very hard for our voices to be heard. I think the institution that is CARICOM has been doing a great work in making sure that collectively, as the Caribbean, we have been advocating and pushing the limits in the international community to be heard and to be taken seriously. And so as it relates to climate justice, I think there's more that can be done, especially as it relates to climate financing, because we did not cause this problem. we are just feeling the impacts of it. And so I think more can be done by the Global North to help Caribbean nations. But for right now, I think that as CARICOM nations, we're doing a good job in standing on business as it relates to what we deserve when it comes to the fight against climate change.
So that Gen Z term, standing on business, it essentially means to stand up for what it is you're talking about, making sure whatever you say, you stick to it. You put your money where your mouth is, if you would like another euphemism. Okay, so my next question to you would have been, so yes, there are environmental organizations that are doing the work, that they have the care for the work, they see the importance of the work. But what about people who, you know, like Dexter on the side of the street, you know, like he's 60-something years old, all he cares about is eating porridge for breakfast and watching the lasses pass by in the road. So for the regular person, do you think that there's that care in them? Do they know the importance?
No, I don't. I think sometimes overly scientific topics kind of go over people's head, and therefore they don't really seem to care. I had a conversation with a fisherman some months ago, and he told me, well, I can't eat climate change, so what does this really have to do with me?
Yeah.
And I think it's really about driving home the impact that the larger issue has on individuals and their livelihoods. So the increase in temperatures, coral reefs die. Coral reefs die, fish stocks are impacted. And so connecting those dots for him really made him understand that there's a larger issue that trickles down and impacts me. And to add to that, I'm the co-founder of Artistry in the Archipelago, which is an environmental organization. And we've been able to use art as a vehicle for climate action. And so art is such a way that people can connect with an issue and care on a deeper level. So using art is just an impactful way for conveying environmental issues.
Yeah. Apart from that project, are there any other policies or ways that y'all have come up with to connect these climate, or to translate these climate goals, or just for the everyday person to understand in a tangible way the real issue at hand? I mean,
because sometimes I think what people are missing is, and I think you would have alluded to it, the actual how it affects them. So, for example, the guy who said he can't eat climate change, but if climate change were to affect your food chain,
as you said, right, the fishes and the sea, and that's food, right? So. And then you mentioned this art thing, which I find that's interesting, right? Well, and I would love you to go a little bit more, a little deeper into that and explaining exactly how do you make that connection. But then I'm also asking, are there any other initiatives that you all would have come up with to make that connection for people?
Right. So art is such an impactful way to be able to help individuals connect. So if you see a picture of a dying coral reef, you feel more moved as someone who may have never seen a coral reef. Or if you see a house underwater, there's a really cool image of this artist from St. Lucia. She painted this little girl in St. Lucia's national wear, and the water was up to her neck, and it said 1.5 to stay alive. And it really drove home the message of sea level rise. And so art is such a vehicle for getting communities to connect, for connecting complex scientific topics. And so that's just one way of helping people connect with the science and the policy. me and my other co-founder like to say we teach people they're learning by force. They don't really understand that when you're painting or when you're writing the poetry or you're doing the craft using recycled materials, that you're learning the importance of recycling, you're learning the importance of preserving your marine environment, you're learning the importance of how to connect to these environmental issues, and just opening that door creates the avenue to learn more about different environmental challenges. What does policy look like? So just using art to plant the seeds so individuals can learn more.
Okay, and well, I understand that when it comes to the regular, everyday citizen Jane, citizen Joe, but when it comes to, you know, those making the policy or those approving the policy, those that are in parliament and debating those bills, do you think that there's a innate action from them, or at least a hope to address these things in any big or real way?
Speaking for the Bahamas, I think that our leaders right now are very adamant on preserving our environment and protecting our natural resources and advocating for climate action. I think they understand that the devastation that Hurricane Dorian had on the northern Bahamas in 2019, I think it was such a pivotal moment for our country, and they understand the impact of the larger issue of climate change. So they've been doing the work, whether that's through educational initiatives, whether that's through implementing real hardcore policy to make sure that the Bahamas can withstand the challenges to come.
Are there any initiatives that we can look out for that people can support? I mean, I know that you're from the Bahamas and we're from Trinidad and Tobago, but we have a very similar certain types of culture, certain types of marine life. We have a similar approach to things. But are there any initiatives that, say, the Bahamas are doing right now that we can be on the lookout for? Maybe we can emulate even in Trinidad and Tobago?
I think here in the Bahamas, I'm really proud of our environmental organizations. A few of our organizations are planting mangroves. I think mangrove planting is an amazing way to protect our coastlines naturally. I think educational initiatives with youth, whether that's internships and summer camps, to get youth into the environment and to see the natural landscapes and to put them in a place where they can connect and understand. And so I think emulating mangrove planting and educational outreach is something that every island throughout the Caribbean can strive towards to help and bolster our capacity as it relates to the overall topic of sustainability and climate action. I also think that it's important for collaboration throughout islands. So like you said, in Trinidad, you guys have similar challenges that we do in the Bahamas. And so being able to collaborate with your Caribbean colleagues, I think is just so needed when we all face the same challenge and we're all trying to achieve the same goal.
So if you had like 30 seconds to speak to world leaders at the next climate summit, or just say you had the world's attention, undivided attention for 30 seconds, what would be your message to everyone?
That's a tough one.
You can take your time.
But I think I would really drive home the message that climate change is such a real thing for us in the Caribbean, that it's not a matter that should just be thrown to the side or just ticked off the agenda. We need climate finance. It's not a matter of, it's not a suggestion. It's not just an idea. We desperately need climate finance and upheld promises to be delivered, just so we can adapt, so we can move forward, because climate migration is a real thing. If a storm wipes out a good chunk of the Caribbean, all of us are going to be knocking on the doors of the global north for help. And so just being able to say, please put your money where your mouth is, give us the money, give us the climate finance, cut your global emissions. We all share this planet together. I think that was more than 30 seconds,
Yeah,
but
it delivered a lot, and I had an actual follow-up question about climate finance. It's so simple, but I think it's the first time I've ever heard the term. What if you were to be given $2 million by the U.S. government, not the U.S. government? What would you spend it on? You have to tell me everything, but like, what's your first thing?
I think I would direct that money into programs that are actively on the ground impacting communities. So those that are teaching individuals about sustainable agriculture, those that are teaching, going into the schools and teaching the kids about the environment. So using that money for not just to say, well, oh yes, we need resilient infrastructure, but if we take that money and use it to educate individuals, I think education goes a long way when it comes to the fight against climate change.
I thought you would have said you would have hopped on a plane and come to buy doubles in Trinidad. You can do that too. I mean, climate, putting the infrastructure that, say, the global north has, but the global south desperately needs either to get it or to have some sort of upkeep or maintenance. That, I think, is very important. And then, as of course, you mentioned education, because you can have the infrastructure, but if people don't know the importance of upkeeping it, then it's just going to fall to the wayside. Now we have a bunch of contraptions with, you know, and it's cranky contraptions. And we have a lot of that, unfortunately, in the Caribbean, because people don't know the importance of why we have certain things. And I think, as you were saying, education is really where it lies. Yeah? Yeah. So I believe we had some...
Oh, we found the picture that you're referring to, so we wanted to show the viewers. Can you explain to us the 1.5 to stay alive?
So 1.5 to stay alive is a slogan by the Alliance of Small Island States under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. There are different negotiating blocks, and all of the small island states are in one block together advocating. So instead of small islands individually, they've collectively decided to use their voice. And so 1.5 to stay alive is a slogan to basically pressure or tell world leaders and people in the global north that if the global temperatures surpass 1.5 degrees Celsius, it will have drastic implications on the Caribbean. And so 1.5 is the global temperature that we do not wish to pass, the threshold that will, if passed, it'll have devastating impacts on the Caribbean.
Wow. Oh, and the picture's really
powerful.
Nice.
I see what you mean by how you can get art to connect to any sort of social justice issue, but specifically this one, that, yeah. Because I mean, if we all go under, then what are we going to do?
The picture kind of tells us that we're almost there, but we're not there yet.
So we still have some time to
still have some time to fix it.
A lifeguard can still reach us. All right, Amber. So can you tell us what's next for you in your journey? What are you up to for the next couple of years?
The next couple of years, I think I'm just really hoping to continue to build my career in this field, whether that's continuing to advocate and to write policy at home and take that on the international stage. I'm just really hoping to open doors for individuals that are coming behind me so we all can fight for our country and for our causes together.
And if you had to give any advice to any young person who maybe hoping to get into the field or maybe just looking to you because you're doing something that you're passionate about that most people really don't know about, what would you say to them?
Continue to show up, use your voice. I think social media has given us such a platform to be able to reach and to advocate. And so use the resources at your fingertips. Use your social media. Even if you think that no one is listening, people are listening and people are watching. So continue to show up and to use your voice and to advocate and to stand on business for things that you're passionate about.
Yeah. Did you feel like that in the beginning, as if no one was paying attention to it or see you?
I think in the beginning, I didn't realize that people cared so much about the causes that I did. It hits home sometimes when I go out and about and people are like, I've seen you on the news, I've seen you on social media, you're doing such a good work. And it makes me feel all warm inside, because I don't think that people notice, but people do. And so I'm now cognizant of the impact that my voice has had on the wider community.
That is wonderful. And I was happy to have found your page, because a lot of the time you don't really see as much as you should beyond the social media. Like you get the organizations, and that's the reason why I actually would have reached out to you in the beginning, because a lot of the activism I see comes from social media. I mean, I'm sure there's real work being done on the ground, but it takes sometimes that social media angle to highlight it. So I appreciate you kind of, merging the two for us all. Yeah. Thanks so much, Amber, for coming on to AM Prime on WESN. In Trinidad and Tobago, you're from the Bahamas, girl. What you doing here?
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. We may hope to have you on sometime soon. Whenever you're doing any type of project or initiative that you would like people to know about, do not tolerate. Hesitate to reach out to us. Yeah. Let us all stand on business with you. Thanks for joining. All right, so to our viewers, we are just going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you. It is Wild Wednesday.
Feeling drained? Struggling to keep up? It's time to take control of your wellness. On this episode of Wellness Unlocked, we're diving into the key nutrients your body needs for all-day energy and balance. With 100% or more of your daily essential vitamins, plus added chromium to support healthy blood sugar, this is complete wellness in a single soft gel. Join us as we uncover how small changes can make a big impact on your health. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and take the first step toward better health.
My name is Dr. Stephen Carroll, the CEO at Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist, and we are committed to making good private health care affordable.
For all your medical needs, including dental, radiology, laparoscopy, behavioral and mental health, along with many other services, contact us for more information at 235-5479.
Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the game.
no.
Let's go to the last part.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we kind of at a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim,
right,
or the man is being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
In the studio, now you don't need to register nothing. You don't need, we can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept,
but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
They believe we defend criminals and we manipulated the law and we're exploiting the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really
respond
want
to me. Respond to me how you would respond to me.
The first question I'll ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh. Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
This is 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage. And we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
Welcome back to the program this morning. So,
it is
Wild Wednesday.
Hey.
Cue that bumper. Nice. So this morning we are joined by none other than Mr. Ricardo Mead via Zoom this morning. from the El Socorro Wildlife
El Socorro Center for Wildlife Conservation. Mr. cracks me up every single time, you know, every single time. Before I even know I see his face, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a good time. I see we're back with the turtle background.
Yes, yes, we love turtles. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me again for another episode of Wild Wednesday. It'll be a little tricky presenting today with this, my guest here. Trying to kill me as we speak. So if you see me act suddenly, it's because he's just a little bit off, and I have to bring him right in front of me to be able to view. I should probably try to remove the background, and that would have probably made it easier for us to see this guy. We'll see if that can happen this morning, but you know, we're here and we're ready to rock, and he's here. You guys want to see him?
I'm interested.
Yes,
I'm intrigued.
All right, okay, if I put him a piece at a time, maybe if you see a piece. You see this piece here? Are you seeing more?
Hi.
Can I take a guess as to what that is?
Go ahead.
It is a gray hawk.
You got it. A gray-lined hawk. That's exactly what it is.
I was going to say a white pigeon, but I don't think there's such a thing as a white pigeon.
A pigeon. You started this morning with violence. Yeah, that flopping is him saying, okay, I'm tired of being in front of you.
I think he's the one that starts the day with violence, actually.
Yeah, he's, well, if you're a killer, to eat you must kill.
Yeah.
So that will be considered quite violent for most people. But he is quite a darling, an amazing bird, and the reason we're featuring him is because we're getting lots of calls about them this week, and well, over the last 2 weeks. People are seeing them, but they're seeing them brown. So the gray-lined hawk is brown, and the reason for that is quite simple. That's because they're juveniles. So they are born hatched as a little fluffy ball, and when their feathers come out, they are brown, mottled brown, and they remain that sort of mottled brown for about 2 to 2.5 years. At which point in time, they start to molt those, what we call baby or juvenile feathers, and then the gray feathers with the gray lines, that gives us this gray-lined hawk name, comes in. So this guy is a big boy. That's why he has this amazing color. He is fully molted. There's no more brown feathers on him. He is a big boy. He's an adult.
Yes, he needs to pay taxes.
So he can drink and do other adult things. Here he goes, poop. There we go. Always know when it's coming. So get yourself out the way, as they say. Yeah, my tilting my head backwards and moving out of frame is because he is actually, I put myself in a very bad position to do this Zoom. I'm here in my ICU, intensive care unit here at home, and he and the other birds are reacting to each other. The other birds are puffing up because they don't like him. He's a big boy that can eat them, and he is reacting to them like, but can I just eat one? So it's a bit of a challenge here right now because I did not think this through. I'm accustomed doing this literally right here whenever I have to do my Zoom, right here or in the car. But right now the patients, which are a few owls, are really reacting. So if you hear some strange noises in the back, it's a tropical screech owls now reacting to this big monster killer of a bird, this guy here, who is looking at them as breakfast. He doesn't realize they're not on the menu, but he's going to try anyway.
So I'm seeing.
So that's who we have this morning.
Where was he found?
Oh, Larry, boy, Larry was your story. Larry was found somewhere near the countryside, I think probably Mamoral some years ago. And the person got it as a baby, and they decided to mine it. You see, it had a problem with water in Mamoral, so they wasn't drinking no water and minding their own business. Larry came along, they decided to mine Larry. Not a good idea. Of course, the first problem is not even knowing really what it was. And then, of course, poor diet. Okay, Larry is a carnivore. He loves to kill and eat other birds and small mammals and even reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely did not do enough to provide the proper diet for Larry, especially as a growing, there we go. Yeah, right, as a growing bird.
Yeah.
So Larry was suffering from metabolic bone disease, and when he tried to fly, he broke a leg and a wing because his bones were so soft. So he had to go through rehab, and he did go through the rehab. And he's here now. Yeah, that's again that reaction because he is trying to eat somebody else here in front of the camera. Fortunately, the camera can't pick that up. Or unfortunately, depends on how you want to look at it. But yeah, he's very much excited about these other animals here. So I'm going to try to see if I can put a little screen here. There we go.
I feel a little bit sorry for you, Mr. Mead.
Yeah, it's dramatic this morning because of my choice of location. You know, they say it's all about location. Yeah, my location this morning was very bad. With this particular guest, he is hyped up and he is like, I want my breakfast. Which one of these owls can I eat? And I'm telling him like none, and he's not having it. And you hear the sound the owls are making in the background. So it's quite dramatic. And it's for people to understand, it's not a simple thing as having a little puppy in the house. You might chew some cords or chew a sandals. The birds can fly, and the birds often try to kill each other.
Yeah.
And you have to somehow be in the middle to make sure that does not happen. The mediator, you know, the corrector and everything, the enforcer, the punisher, everything to ensure that everybody lives to see another day. So Larry is doing his best to ensure that I fail in my efforts to keep him away from the other animals here. But it's all about dealing with the different animals and dealing with their needs. So right now, his need is to eat a smaller bird. And I'm standing in the way of that drive, his prey drive to eat a smaller bird. Meanwhile, the smaller birds are in their enclosures and they are absolutely freaking out because they know that this guy is a predator to them.
Yeah, it's just instinct.
And they're not happy about that at all.
Yeah.
And this is part of the things that people don't understand. Who's prey and who's predator and who shouldn't be kept and stuff like that and what they need. Give the animals what they need and all is well. Mess that up and boy, you're going to have problems.
Yeah,
But Larry is recovered.
Yeah.
And he's now training to free fly.
To free fly?
Yes, that means we'll be able to take him out to an area, for example, where there are pigeons and he may fly and swoop at some and he will come back to the glove when called.
That brings me to my next question before I even go there. My mind is turning. I'm seeing on the University of West Indies Life Sciences site that the grey-lined hawk belongs to the order of the Falconiformes. Diurnal birds of prey. Diurnal. It matters.
Yep, diurnal. Yeah, meaning daylight as opposed to nocturnal, which means nighttime.
Okay. So when I heard Falconiformes, please correct me. Yeah? I was thinking that they are, you know, like when you have the falcon gloves, the thing that you usually bring with the birds to stand on. So is it that they are part of the falcon species? How are they differentiated from other well-known falcons?
Yeah, well, all birds of prey would basically belong to the same order, raptors. They're different types of birds of prey, from the black vulture, the hawks, the falcons, the caracaras, all of them, the osprey, all of them belong, even abroad, the eagles, they all belong in the same family. They basically do the same thing. They pursue, hunt, kill, and eat another animal. They're prey. So, of course, they have sharp talons, and with that sharp talon now, they use that to grasp and kill other animals. And then they would rip them apart with their sharp beak.
Oop.
So, yeah.
Oop.
Yep.
I see the falcon in the glove.
It's challenging but fun this morning. I'm telling you that. I'm getting a lot of wing beats here. You know, every time you see me tilt my head like that, there is because a wing slap or something there. He's trying to flop all over. And, you know, like we can't see the patients, but the patients are not happy, which is actually a good lesson for them because part of them going back into the wild and interacting, they must be able to identify their prey. And it's good that they're looking at Larry and understanding you're a bad man. We should not try to play with you. We should not try to talk to you. So that is a good thing. At least they have that recognition. The most important recognition for them to do thereafter is to recognize people or humans as bad, bad, bad. Stay away from them. Even if it's you and you're the nicest person on the earth, they should stay away from you. You do not want these birds to be comfortable around you out in public. You know, because imagine you're going to the savannah and you just, you know, buy your coconut water or your doubles or so on there, and then the bird swoops down and lands on your head or something like that there. While one nature lover might love it, another person might freak out, and a child might run out in the road, and you know, it's just a series of very unfortunate events that we try to prevent by training the animals and preparing these guys to go back into the wild as possible. So them interacting with humans is not a normal behavior. So we are not going to encourage that whatsoever. We do the best we can to ensure that a release candidate is really ready for release. He knows his food, he knows his enemies, he knows how to protect himself from the weather elements. He can identify his own species, and he can identify the ultimate and most horrible predator, human beings.
Yeah. So now I was curious, and I wanted to ask this before, Larry's previous family, you know, what kind of diet were they giving Larry? What were they feeding him, if you know?
What a lot of people do, and which is very wrong, minced meat, minced chicken,
cooked,
and liver. You know why? Because that's easy. That's easy to feed a baby bird.
Yeah.
Okay? They're not going to go and get rats and kill them and freshly cut them up and have their hands bloody and force them to eat, you know, the bloody bits and pieces of the animal. They're not going to do that. That's a different level of involvement and commitment.
Yeah.
You know, we have volunteers who can't do that. We have volunteers who can't kill a rat or a mouse. We have volunteers who will not cut it up. And sometimes we even have to skin them for the smaller ones, because we've had cases where, like for the rat for example, we've had to skin the rat. Rats have a really tough skin and that long fur. So we've had to skin the rat and then chop it up and put it in a blender to ensure that it's of a nice, easy consistency to go through a particular feeding tube to feed to our patients. Yep. It's the same thing you do for a person, you know. When people sick, you say, give them soup. Well, right, we give them basically like a rat soup. But it's it has to go through that syringe to get into their crop. So we do what is necessary to save the lives of these animals. Most people, when they get the animal and claim they're going to mine it, they have no clue, and they are not on that level of commitment or knowledge or professionalism to do what we do. So that's why we always tell the people, you mind your business and let us do this part.
Yeah.
I mean, I think probably maybe one day we should do a rat for them, do a little rat, the ratty, chop it up and blend it up. Would you like to see that?
No, maybe not.
No?
Maybe not.
Nobody wants to see. Oh, but try. I can do it home, you know, a nice blended rat, and I can bring it in studio for you ladies to try.
Not for us to try. Not for us to try. But you can bring an animal for us to feed. That would be nice.
I will
wait. You're telling me you wouldn't eat a rat?
No.
Mr. Reed.
Why not?
Mr. Reed, you eat a rat?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we're Trinis, right?
Yes,
but as Trinis, what do we eat? So come October 1st, we're getting close, you know, this is the time of the year I start getting nervous. July is quickly ending, then there's August, then school opens September, and at the end of September comes the dreaded 1st of October, which is the beginning of the hunting season, which runs from the 1st of October all the way to the last day in February. That's a long hunting season.
It is.
And during that time, droves of men with their manly testosterone and muscular self in their minds are going to pour into a forest with axe and hatchet and tree-line cutlass and machete and guns, pellet guns, shotguns, shovels, you name it, to go after the prized agouti. And some even venture now for lap. So agouti and lap, two of the top prizes in our forest, hunted relentlessly. And most people try to ignore the fact that they are animals in the family of Rodentia, aka rats. So the same thing you're getting from the Gucci is the same thing you will get from the rat.
Well,
The same thing you get from the lap is the same thing you
but
get from the
that's
rat.
why I would not eat an agouti or a lap or
I
a
don't know.
manikou, because to me they're all rats.
Yeah, I don't do that
Well,
thing.
And
the
when I
manikou
think of
is not a
people,
rat, remember that, eh?
when I think of people eating rats, I just automatically think of Shrek and Fiona. They're the only. They're the
They ate
only.
rat?
They ate rats.
Oh, fortunately, I missed that part.
Fortunately, yeah. Mr. Mead, I personally, I mean, I can be very bashful when it comes to things to eat like that. I don't do that. I don't do those types of things. Yeah, I don't. No.
Anymore?
Mr. Mead.
But we can definitely, you can bring an animal for us to feed the rat, like the blended rat.
You can bring an animal for Naomi to feed. Jada will spectate.
I mean, the consistency is really amazing. Eh? I've heard it described as a sort of punch, you know, from one of the Punch King and Sour, real nice, smooth consistency, because when we liquefy that in the blender, it just goes down really nice, and it liquefies the animal's body.
I like an appetite. Now I have none. Thank you so much, Mr. Mead.
Well, a little lemon balm in the morning, they say, is close to Ozempic, and this year is close to lemon balm in terms of making you lose your appetite. So you shall thank me later. Okay?
Nature's Ozempic.
Thank me later.
But really,
You don't know what's Ozempic?
No, yes, I do. Yes, I do. We actually had an episode on it in the earlys when it was just becoming popular. But
Yeah, it's the hot thing, you know.
Yeah.
Do not make any sacrifices or change in your life. Just take a pill and everything shall be fine.
Yeah, until it's not anymore. Until
No.
you have the same diet and you overeat, and then it's this whole thing. But I wanted to mention, when you were talking about the manikou, I don't know what it was, but my dog, unfortunately, got into the grass and something was crawling, and then all of a sudden, when I opened the door this morning, I didn't take a picture, but I opened the door this morning to a big agouti or something, whatever it was, just lying across with its neck snapped. I don't know why she brings it to the door for us to all see, but she does that. Sometimes that's my dog. So I didn't get a chance to save it. I'm so sorry, but it was just weird seeing that this morning.
No, that's the life cycle outside when we're asleep. That's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's her yard. The agouti came in, or whatever it was. I don't know what it was. I was supposed to take a picture to send you, but I was
Did it have a tail?
Yes, it had a tail.
Manikou.
Then it's not an agouti.
Oh, okay.
You need to go back and read your book about how the agouti lost its tail. Remember that story? No, right? Kids don't read that stuff anymore, do they? Anyway, agoutis don't have tails. Their tails are so tiny, it's not even considered a real tail. But if it had a long tail, that's a manikou.
I think maybe it was a small manikou, yeah. Because I was watching the thing that you call a lap, because when you mentioned it, I was like, what the heck is that? But I mean, you teach me a lot. But now I'm saying the lap has like these spots on its side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it could have, I don't know if it was that, but it maybe could have been that. Or the manikou. It's probably more
Yeah,
likely
lap
it was
is
a
fairly rare, and you would hardly ever find them in
I
a
think it was a manikou.
suburban setting, you know, like as yours may be. The agouti would be more common. They would come running down from the hills, you know.
Yeah.
I'm happy that many communities have gone to in the evening or early morning. I've literally seen agouti running literally on the white line in the middle of the road and then dashing across to one side and the other. And I'm just saying to myself, boy, run fast, find a space, because them fellas see you.
That's
They're
it.
going to bring out our whole village posse just to run down this poor little Gucci to get all 3 pounds of meat.
Yeah.
You would swear that we're starving in Trinidad.
And no, but that's it. And I always wonder why my dog does it. Like, why she can't just kill it and leave it where she killed it. She brings it to the door as almost like an offering for the family, like if we needed to eat.
Yes, because you would have at some point in time offered praise to her for gifts. So you give her gifts and praise, and she gives you gifts in return. She thinks of that as a proud moment that she would have killed something and brought it back to her master. Cats do the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So we have one lady, I think she's going to make a report on me very soon to the Couva police, because I keep threatening to kill her cat. And though it may sound like the lyrics going forward for a new soca song, the reality is, you know, I keep saying, you just bring it over and I will deal with it. And she's just laughing and she says, I'm going to tell the police, I'm going to tell the police.
And if I need
Well, of course, I will not
explanation
be violent towards her pet, but I am offering to do it things to stop it from killing, because she's like twice a day sometimes is bringing me offerings. And while you might say, okay, one cat twice a day bringing offerings, that means it's killing at least 2 animals every day. A lizard, a bird, another bird, another bird. And that's not a good thing, people. While you love your cat, the other animals that are wildlife and native to Trinidad deserve their place and their space. And if you cannot, there we go, if you cannot respect that, something's wrong.
But how
So
can you...
I have 2 cats also, rescues, but they never get to see outside. They don't belong there. They're house cats.
Isn't that, but Mr. Mead, you are so much into, you know, you're so much for the animals, right? But is it just the wild animals? Because these cats, how can we train a cat not to kill if that is what their natural instinct is?
Oh, quite simply, do not let it go outside. They don't belong outside. If your cat goes outside, you are actually harming the animal. Firstly, let's track back. They do not belong in this part of the world. Just like the rats, the cats were brought here by the Europeans. Okay, so put that in your frame first. They don't even belong here. They are your pets, domesticated animals. They will live perfectly fine in a house. They don't need to go outside. Okay? They do not need to go outside and roam at all. Don't come around me with that stuff, because here's what happens when they go outside and roam. A roaming cat, okay, cats that roam, their lifespan is down to about 2 years. Your pet, responsibly kept inside, can live for 15 to 19 years. See the difference right there? Because this is what happens when it goes outside. One, they're struck by cars. I'm sure we've all seen a car run over, flattened on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Struck by cars. Big danger. Is that what you want for your animal? 2, the males get into it with each other. Okay? So your male cat, okay, or even the female can come back home. Hold on there, this bird is trying to mash up my house here. I give him a little space, and this is what he is doing.
You give him an inch, you take
Another
a mile.
reason people to leave these animals alone for the professional. It will break up your wife's prize lamp, and she will kill you. Okay? So having a gray line hawk like this could result in your injury or possibly even death. So let's not advocate for domestic violence. Leave this for the professionals. Right? Because you'll go in the police station and say, your wife do you this and that and the other. But you wouldn't say, well, you bring a hawk in the woman's house. And this is what the hawk do. A favorite lamp that costs $1,500, the bird match up. So I'm trying to get it back here. There we go. And he is tethered and still, you know, he is curious. These other animals here have him really, look at him, panting away, breathing heavy, like,
he's hungry.
yeah, that's him there for you there. Yeah, that's him. Right. So your cats do not belong outside. They pick up lots of diseases, tropical diseases, that gives them feline leukemia, all sorts of other diseases. And it's really not right for the animals to go through this. Okay? So if you really love your cat, okay, you say Mr. Mead is against cats. No, I'm against cats outside free roaming. Okay, and last night I just came, because we released the Cayman last night, just came where again counted literally dozens and dozens of cats just roaming around the place there, seeking some unfortunate night creature, some lizard or some snake or some bird who didn't make it back up into a nest to be able to eat. Okay.
I feel like you're coming and going there for a second. I don't know if we would have lost the last part of what you said.
calls. Just find a way to one on the Zoom to make sure all calls don't come through. So there's a persistent.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what I'm dealing with here. So that's where the little gaps in. That is the fly in the ointment of the Zoom call right there when other calls come in. And remember, my phone is a hotline number, so 24/7 people call me. You know, for some major problems, some urgent problems, some simple matters, but they call all the time on this number, up to 75 times a day. So the possibility of getting a call during a Zoom session, extremely high.
All right, but I will be quick with my last couple of questions. It's specifically on the reproduction, because I'm watching the little overview I'm seeing here, and it says where males use coordinated aerial flights to help build nests in order to court females. That's how they go about their reproduction cycle. So what I'm hearing that the males and the gray line hawk species, they're providers, they're protectors. They go out there and they understand they need to provide for the females, so they go and they build their nests, and that's how they court or appeal to the females. Am I right, or your face looks like Jada? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that is very so true, and that is the case with most of the male species in birds.
Yeah.
They have the one, as opposed to humans. In birds, the males have the amazing plumage, the beauty, as it were, because their job is to attract the female. From the bowerbird, who has to put blue in his decoration and does the dance, the birds of paradise, the rooster jumps up and crows and does his old fluttery activity, the peacock. When you look at a peacock and a peahen, you wonder, why did they even invent a peahen? Where did this come from? Who came up with the idea of having such a drab, brown, boring animal? I mean, compared to the male, that's what it is, but it's important. That's the female. And then you look at birds. The birds that sing are the males, the canary.
Yeah.
That's why the cage bird sings. It's the males. You want the male. Okay, those people out there catching the wild birds and so on, when it comes to a female, if they end up with a female, they release it. They get rid of it because she's not going to sing. Who is she singing for? It's the male who comes up with who initiates and has to find the female and does the dances and all of that. And that happens throughout almost all of the animal kingdom, and even in humans. Okay, so the guys with the fancy car, the big job and the house and all of the fancy haircut, we had to go and get a line up on a Sunday and whatever it is there to go to work on a Monday to catch one of your co-workers' eyes and stuff. It's always the male who is doing that. I mean, we do have our females too, our little temptresses and so on like that there. But for a lot of part there, the aggressor, the initiator, is usually the guy. And in the animal kingdom, they usually, many times they will build a nest and then say, hey girl, look at this, check my crib out.
Yeah, as I'm reading here, they say when they do breed, the eggs are there for about 33 days, and the female has to sit on the eggs for the full time, and the male goes out to find food. You all just met. Yeah, you have him on a schedule.
Yeah, he goes to work.
He goes to work.
And if you see how it's done with the bald eagles, the bald eagles would have eggs during times of storm and snow and stuff like that. They sit on the nest. And if the female sits on the nest, the male will bring the food. Yeah. Many times the male is sitting on the nest covered in snow. They just hunker down, covered down in snow until it's over, and then they fluff themselves right off there and they continue. But keeping those eggs safe, continuing the next generation of life is ingrained in their psyche. That is important. I wish that could be even more so with us humans, that we would do so much better by our children in terms of protecting them and providing for them to ensure that they're big, strong, healthy, smart, efficient, and capable for the future. But the animals do it. And sometimes I always say that we can learn a lot from the wild creatures.
We can.
Quite a lot.
We can. If there's something this segment has taught me is that I can learn a lot from these animals.
Yeah. And we were very fortunate there at the center, literally 100 meters away from the front of the center, a pair of gray lines. We had gray lines there all the time, a pair of gray lines. They started their courting. So we saw their courting ritual that you spoke about, the dancing and the swooping and so on. And then they built a nest in a tree that was close by, and we will observe the nest. And then we knew when they had the eggs there, because with our limited capabilities of spying up into that tree, we were able to see the female sitting there. And then the baby came, and then the male, when Larry, for example, would be put out during the day, a lot of times that male would come swooping at Larry because Larry now posed a threat to his family. So he would protect his family and his nest and his territory by swooping at Larry. So sometimes Larry was not too happy to be put out there because this guy is going to come and try and clout him. And he can't really respond because he is tethered and he has only so much capability in terms of response.
Yeah.
And then we saw the brown baby, which is around now and bawling like crazy, and mom and dad are feeding him. And it's amazing to see the cycle where the life began, where it continued, and where it is now. So we're wishing the very best for that little brown bird, which is actually a gray line hawk, just like this guy here. We're wishing the best for that guy and hopes that he makes it, and then he would fly off to another area because his dad might just chase him off and say, hey, you're big enough, go on from here. And he goes and finds his own new territory, finds his own woman, and continues that life cycle all over again. So we're excited and looking forward for that to happen. And that's what we call success in conservation, 100%.
Love that. Thanks so much for the information. Do they all have that yellow part on their beak?
Oh, yeah, that's the main identifying feature right there. Right there where the nostrils are, that's them there, the gray line hole, all look like that. If it's not looking like that, something's wrong. That's how we identify them quickly.
Hi, Larry. I feel like he hears me.
Yeah, he's calming down now, so I can do him this here, shake him around and he just sort of staying there. He's had enough. That fly around the room here, fly around the living room and try to land on top of the other animals there, had him winded, and he's like, all right, I'll stay here. So he's behaving himself now, and I know that, so I can take it. No, he's looking around. Hey, I just talk about you being nice. Be nice.
Hi, Larry. No, not right now. He's not into it.
Yeah, now he's going to find some new mischief to get himself in. Larry, watch the camera. See, back to the camera, because he's looking. Larry, turn around and say goodbye to the people out there. There he goes, wings. Larry, look at the camera. There we go.
Nice.
Right?
Goodbye, Larry.
On behalf of Larry and myself and all the other birds of prey in Trinidad and Tobago, which you people out there should do your very utmost best to protect. And if you can't protect them, at least leave it alone. That's usually good enough. Don't mess with them. And if you do encounter injured or orphaned wildlife, please feel free to reach out to us on 366-4369. Reach out to us and we will offer help. We'll use WhatsApp. We'll get a picture. We'll determine the situation and see in which way we can help both you and the animal that is in need of help to have the very best outcome. And the very best outcome is that this animal stays in the wild, being free, doing his dance, finding his woman, having his babies for many years to come.
Good. As Mr. Mead said, the number is 366-4369, 366-4369. I've used that number before.
Oh, we know that.
Actually, I don't think that I ever show the video. I feel like I should show the video one of these days.
Yeah, you should show that iguana video, him scaling the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah, he survived. He survived.
Yeah, I believe it's a she though, by the girth of her hips. Yeah.
Look at that. I just learned something. Thanks so much, Mr. Mead.
You guys are very welcome. Thank you for having me. And to all our friends, followers, and fans out there on the WWW, have yourself a wonderful and productive day. I'll see you guys next week on
Wild Wednesdays. Thanks so much.
So that was Mr. Ricardo Mead from the El Socorro Center for Wildlife Conservation. All right, so that brings us to the end of another show. No matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up.
That sounds like Beyonce.
Yeah, I could see that.
No, but always get up, always put on your clothes and get out there. You've been given another day to have some life. Go out there and make it a fun
And
life.
as Ms. Amber Turner said, stand on business. So whatever you decide to do today, next day, any decisions that you make, stand on business. Follow through with what you plan, what you
aim to do, put your money where your mouth is at all points in times. Yes, as you know, you can always engage with us on WESN-CC, WESN-TV, or you can WhatsApp the number you see on your screen, 682-9376, 682-9376. If you want to reach us at all, you can get Naomi at Naomi McNish on Instagram, and I am Jada McLeod on Instagram for myself.
All right, guys, so stay safe, stay inspired, stay informed. And don't go too far. You have Sean Michael Small on the hour of 8 o'clock with Talking Point. We'll see you back here again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533,